Hallo, es tut mir leid, aber heute soll ich es auf Englisch tun. So, bear with me. So, great to be here. My talk will be, I will grab this thing, my talk will be about field architecture indeed, which is a research platform, international research platform looking into urban failures, architectural failures, but it's also a real life thing. It's a traveling group of people that go to different places around Europe until now, but we have plans to go elsewhere, where we look at specific buildings and try to identify what went wrong to these buildings, because they are standing empty, they are derelict, people have abandoned them, they are stigmatized. So that comes out of our curiosity and our obsession with the built environment. So that's about field architecture, the platform. My talk will be, the first half will deal with field architecture, and maybe I will talk a bit also about Frankfurt. But more specifically, I will focus on the role, or how I see it, the future role of the architect. So are there any architects in this room? None? Unbelievable. Because I'm not an architect either. I'm an urban planner. But it was Dan Hill, who's an interaction designer, who said, you shouldn't ask an architect to reflect on the future of architecture. It takes someone from outside that world. So here I am. And I will try to speculate on the future of the architect. Also because field architecture is attracting a lot of attention. Some of those people are architects, but the majority are from different backgrounds, from politics or from architectural historians or economists. So apparently architecture is a big deal to a lot of people. So I will share my conclusion with you. I think that the role of the architect is over, or at least how it was defined in the last few centuries, dating back to its origins, when it meant the master builder, the director of work, so the one in charge. And I think things are changing, mainly because of technological developments, and I will touch on some of them. But first, let's go back in time, briefly. And this idea of failed architecture, it's nothing new. It has been there since biblical times, right up to the present day, but especially here, late 19th century, in the newly established metropolis around the world, like London, with enormous density in the inner cities, dreadful living conditions. And people were living in these places, and all of a sudden there was this new class of people emerging, and I call it the Age of Gentlemen, and it was the very first time that architects were acknowledged. Before that they were mainly seen as technicians, engineers, civil servants, but all of a sudden you had the architect. And you probably know some of these people, and they got a face, they got a voice, and they got ideas. This one is Sullivan, form follows function. Well, you can see the result around us here. And they were these enigmatic, authoritative figures. People were looking up to them. They were the central figure in a building process, in a designing process, and they were taken very serious. They came up with grand schemes how to reorganize the whole city. This is a Le Corbusier plan for the inner city of Paris. You can still see a little bit of the Ile de la Cité, where the Notre Dame is standing. So this was his plan. So to eradicate the whole medieval part of the city and replace it with these high towers. that never materialized, but in this spirit, a lot has been done around the world. You're probably familiar. We walked around this city here today, and you can quite clearly see the influence it has had on our landscape, urban landscape, all around the world. This is a famous example, notorious example. It's called Pruitt-Igoe. It was an enormous housing estate that was built in 1954 in the city of St. Louis in the US. And within 2 decades, because of its malfunctioning, the city government decided to get rid of it. The same architect who made Pruitt-Igoe was also responsible for this building that we all know, and that's no longer with us, the World Trade Center. And it continued until the present. It continues until the present day. This is in China, where you don't need a city government deciding to demolish a building, because buildings just implode. They collapse because of the technical failures. So modernism still exists, but it is in ruins. Le Corbusier has become more of a pop icon than as someone that is being taken serious nowadays for his architectural vision. And with the death of modernism, the demolition of these housing blocks, there was the emergence of a new group, a new clan of architects, and they came to be known as the Starchitects. You have them here as well, but I can mention Zaha Hadid or Rem Koolhaas. And they came to the rescue. So cities were being demolished, looking for a new identity. They had to compete in an international rat race to attract foreign investment, to attract tourists. And there they were, building their iconic structures that were pretty much in tune with this motto here, form follows finance. So this graph shows you the correlation between several economic crises throughout history and the erection of the tallest skyscraper in that time. And what you see is that right before the crisis really kicks in, they finish the tallest building of that time. So there is a really tight relationship between the financial system and architecture. And this leads to images like this. This is completely fantastical, of course, but you see these cities. It's a bit of Beijing, it's a bit of Dubai, and it's spreading around the world. And these icons are put everywhere. And that causes some, has an enormous impact on cities. The city of Valencia almost went bankrupt because of, in part, the construction of this piece of architecture by Calatrava. The architect got blamed because he got more than 100 million euros in fees just for this single project. So after that, and that's the situation we're in right now, a lot of projects by the same prestigious architects are stalled, are completely cancelled. This is Daniel Libeskind in Copenhagen. Some of them have been realized, like this one done by Norman Foster in Las Vegas, but it will be demolished because of bad market conditions and technical failure. So this is maybe the first example of a living Starchitect whose building will be demolished even before it was opened. So from heroes, they became villains, and they became demonized almost. These are Zaha Hadid and Jean Nouvel, and you see these cartoons everywhere on the web. But luckily, there's always Rem Koolhaas, my fellow Dutchman, who is some sort of a clown, because on the one hand, he is building these structures, but he's also taking a critical distance and trying to reassess the situation. And he was saying recently that design today becomes as easy as Photoshop, even on the scale of a city. We see this copy-paste system emerging in cities where they take one icon and just duplicate it and put it in a new situation. So that's the situation we're in right now. So we've had the heroes, we've had the gentlemen, we still have the villains, and who's going to replace them? I would argue that they're the geeks. Maybe you consider yourself a geek, so no architects, but are there geeks? I think geeks, so people who are in touch with technology, who are involved in development of certain technological innovations, dealing with network technology, network cities, etc., etc. I think they will be the ones who will build our future cities. And this is one of those geeks, also an urbanist, who's saying digital tools will replace architects and urban planners. So move aside, architects, because the new technological class is coming. And in this age and in the future, I think more and more form will follow data. So behavioral patterns. And there are some trends that are pointing in that direction. So you could talk about a lot more of them, or you can name them differently. And of course, we can talk about ecology, etc. But these, I think, are some crucial things that are happening and are shaping our cities right now. And I will run through them quickly. So this would show you a city that is shaped by generative software. So, which results in these images. You might have seen them. Some of them have been built. So it's based on calculus. It's produced by computers, by software. So it's no longer a handmade sketch or a drawing of a city. This is purely done by computers based on certain parameters. The interesting thing is that the ones that already use this technology, like Zaha Hadid, they say it has a liberating effect because no longer do we have to stick to certain rules of gravity, etc. We can be free. We can design whatever we want. So you get all these crazy curves, etc. So this is really built. This is in Beijing. But if you look how it fits into the city, I think there is still a slight problem. So it's also a promise of this new technology is that it would emerge from the city. So it will be growing organically from the city, but instead there is still this clash. Another problem with it is that it can easily be copied. So this building you see here on the left-hand side is again Zaha Hadid, which is currently being constructed in Beijing. On the other side, it's the copy. It's another project developer in another Chinese city who stole the code of that building and is building it now, and it's almost finished. And now it's like a competition. Who will be the first, the copy or the original?
では、新宿の35年間を10秒で。
This video shows you, as you can all see, a city that is built enormously quickly. The tempo of construction is speeding up and has reached a point which is really beyond belief. For a long time, this was considered to be the benchmark. So the Empire State Building was built in little over a year, 102 floors. Right now, you see these numbers. 30 floors, 15 days. Just imagine. So 2 floors a day is being built. Or 10 floors in 2 days. And now they have this plan for this building, 200 floors in 19 days. How can you keep up with that as an architect, with all your skills and all your knowledge and all your understanding of the city and all your good intentions? If they start building cities like this, out of a factory. So they are all prefabricated, put on trucks, driven to the site, and they start building. And this is what you get. In 8 days. Then the DIT instead of the DIY. So the do it yourself, no, do it together. I think it's the next step. Do it together. In many ways. Also, again, through technology. This is a 3D printer by DAS Architects from Amsterdam. It's on the scale of a room. So they will enable you to build an entire room. You can go there with your own design. You can have your own house printed in this 3D printer. They're now working on a plan for this year to build a canal house in Amsterdam. Another good example by 00 Architects from London is the Wiki House, which is an open source design toolkit where you can take bits and pieces of a house from that website and rearrange them, reconfigure them with your own materials that you have, and you can make your own house, and also the other way around. You can contribute to the platform. You can upload your own ideas of how a building should look like. You really should check it out. And then you can print it. Just imagine, you have this design, partly from WikiCity, WikiHouse, partly done by yourself, a bit stolen from Zaha Hadid, and you just go to the printer and they print your house and they deliver it in the street where you will live. So to conclude or to sum it up, I think things are getting virtual in the sense we are getting detached. Architects who are specialized in the tangible environment are losing touch with what is happening around them in the world of architecture and design. I promise you, I will put this whole presentation on our website with the videos. So architects have to prepare themselves for a changing world. This is a LAN party in Sweden with 13,000 kids gaming together, building a city in SimCity at the same time. If you look at this old image of Le Corbusier in the studio, this is a new world. A city like Rio de Janeiro has a command room where they are controlling the city. So it's no longer civil servants or architects walking through the neighborhood. No, they are on top of it. They have this bird's eye view, and they're controlling it through CCTV and all kinds of remote controlled devices. So I think, and this is a speculation, but the future architect will look more like this person, which is a drone pilot, than a traditional architect. So he controls his drone, which is 10,000 kilometers away from him. But at the same time, it has been brought back to normal life, and you can get a drone now for a couple of €100, and you can control it through your own iPhone. The downside of all these developments, I'm not prophesizing it here, I'm not defending it. Of course, these things also implode and collapse. Drones can crash when you start using algorithms, when you're designing whole cities. It can become a disaster like what happened on the New York Stock Exchange, where because of algorithmic trading, the stock exchange simply crashed and lost 9% of its value in a split second. And this results in catastrophes like this one, which is also based on calculus, which is also generative design, and there was just one glitch in the software and whole ceilings collapse. So where does this put the architect in the cities we live in and how they develop? So it will no longer be this man saying, watch me, it will look like this. No, it will be way more complicated. It will be more like this. The drone pilot, the technician, the guy who has the skills, who can multitask, who is knowledgeable about software, about new technologies, but who's not necessarily interested in the physical world. Hey, now it works. And it might be a good thing for architects, because now they can hang out with the rock stars and with the stars, and so they're relieved from their profession and from the tasks that come with it. Or they can become stars themselves, like Bjarke Ingels, who appeared on TED in the past. So there's a whole new world out there. It's a new frontier which needs new skills and new mentality. And it's my prediction that architects, the way they are trained now, there are a few exceptions, but the majority of them is not ready for this new world and not capable to embrace it. So to them, you're not here in this room, but maybe you're watching, I'd say, think about it and make up your mind. So are you in or out? Thank you.